Well, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, finally, we are through with the MHCET examination as well. And I'm sure your reaction would be like this: finally, it's over. So, an exam which is supposed to be the first one as far as law entrances for a particular academic year is concerned happens to be the last one for the year 2020. No need to deliberate on the reasons. We all understand the situation in Maharashtra. And because this exam is primarily meant for students in Maharashtra, of course, we have students from across India who have taken the examination today. But yes, after quite delays, finally the exam, which is supposed to happen in April, has happened on 11th of October today. Not much of change, very much on the expected lines. In fact, those, if by any chance any one of you gave the paper last year and were retaking the paper this year, you would have realized, in fact, this year was slightly easier as compared to 2019. But there were no change, whether it was in terms of pattern or difficulty level. More or less, for the last 3 years, the paper has been quite easy. In fact, there was no change even in the order of the sections. So students who had written lots of mocks, they were really comfortable. They knew which section to approach first, despite the order being same as we give in the mocks. One of the highlights was GK. In fact, we see a lot of variation when it comes to general knowledge section for different examination. But MHC retained the exact structure what it gave in 2019. And no doubt, English today was one of the easiest section. So I believe time management was the key for this paper. So if one would have distributed time wisely for each of the section, looking at the difficulty level of each of the sections, I'm sure one would have easily done the entire paper within 120 minutes. In fact, much before that, though the time frame was 120 minutes to do that 150 questions, but I'm sure most of you would have completed the paper somewhere around 110 minutes or maybe at max 115 minutes, and you would have spared yourself for those 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 10 minutes maybe. So that was the highlight of the examination today. Let's delve deeper into the sections and understand what each section was looking like today. In fact, at the same time, the score calculator on CLST website, which is lawentrance.com, is also live. So post this session, you can check your scores to understand where do you stand. So the first section in the paper was legal reasoning and aptitude. So generally, when we talk about legal aptitude, we definitely include legal knowledge, but here there was no legal knowledge questions. So I do understand you would have got that sigh of relief because majority of the students are now very much comfortable while preparing for different competitive examination. They become very comfortable with the legal reasoning questions actually. And given the type of questions which MSCST has been asking for last few years, I'm sure most of you would have really been happy while looking at the paper. While it was definitely all reasoning, but at the same time, the paper was not, this particular section was quite easier to do actually. So single line principles followed by very easy fact situations. And of course, one would simply take a glance at the fact situation and one could easily relate the principle and come out with the probable choice. So this section was very much easier. The principles were very much self-explanatory, no prior legal. I would say to a larger extent, we did not need a very good base of legal aspects, but yes, having practice, that would have really helped. So out of 40, an attempt of 35 was definitely possible. And if you had a score of 90% and above, accuracy of 90% and above, I'm sure you would have done a very decent job in this particular section as well. So overall, legal reasoning section was quite easier. I didn't see any difficulty out there. 21 questions were from tort, followed by contracts and criminal, and there were a few questions which can be classified as miscellaneous. There was one question which was based on maxim, but it was again a legal reasoning question actually. General knowledge, to my surprise, in fact, was very much similar to 2019. So even last year, they had 16 questions based on current affairs. This year also, we had 16 questions based on current affairs. To the surprise of everyone, and I believe 7 questions came from different awards categories. So whether we talk about International Gandhi Award for Leprosy or Veteran Pain, PT Usha related, or PC Mahalanobis Award or Doctor of Letter Award. So there were 7 questions out of 30 which came from various awards actually, 2 related to film industry. Then we had questions based on polity, we had questions based on policy, the Prime Minister employment program. So that was their question based on that. We had question based on the number of Lok Sabha and Assembly constituencies in the state of Meghalaya. Then there was a question based on the river which flows through Pakistan and finally falls into Arabian Sea. Two questions we are talking about. Then a question on repo rate, non-banking financial companies, and one important question on important days, actually, Nelson Mandela International Day. So I think pretty easy, I would rate this section. Most of you would have been really comfortable looking at the current affairs questions, because for different other exams, you have definitely done your current affairs. Even the static GK section, the questions based on static general knowledge were quite easier. Those history related questions or geography related questions. Whether we talk about the Indus Plains, I'm sure you would have definitely done a great job looking at those questions, actually, because most of you have already prepared the static GK for different examination, and this delay gave you the ample time for that matter to revise each of your concepts, actually. So out of 30, definitely an attempt of 25, 27 was possible, and a very good attempt that could be considered as. Logical reasoning, which again is about 40 questions, was a mix, or I would say rather dominated by analytical reasoning. But yes, we had 8 questions on statements and conclusion. There were 4 different sets basically. So there were 8 questions on statements and conclusion. Then we had 2 different puzzle sets given, actually, so which alone accounted for 10 questions among themselves. 2 sitting arrangement puzzles were there, which again accounted for 10 questions. There were questions based on coding, decoding, direction sense, family tree, and even an odd one out question was there. Overall, given the number of puzzles which was there in this particular section, I would say this section can be rated somewhere around easy to moderate. But for a student who managed time wisely, looking at the other sections where he could have done GK within 10 minutes or maybe 12 minutes maximum, the mathematics somewhere around 7-8 minutes at maximum, or maybe even English, which was possible to be done in 20 minutes. I'm sure enough time was left for this and the legal reasoning section. So if you managed your time wisely, I think you would have spent quite a considerable time on this particular section. And I'm sure you would have definitely attempted 35 plus questions out here. The level of questions were not difficult, but yes, because there were so many puzzle sets out there, it was a bit of time consuming, actually. But as I said, time management was key for this entire paper as well as for this particular section. English, by far the easiest section in the paper. 2 comprehension passages, one on technology and profession, and the other one was related to music and how it impacts the performance efficiency of people. So how music plays a role when it comes to performance analysis, performance efficiency of the people in various organizations, kind of. So we had 2 passages, altogether 13 questions. The first one had 7 questions, the second one had 6 questions. Then there were 7 questions on correct sentence corrections, where you had those 3 words given, if I remember it correctly: judge, accomplice, and custody. These were the 3 words, actually, but they had you had to identify among which of the sentences it has been grammatically correctly used, actually. So 7 questions on current sentence correction. We had fill in the blanks as well. Word phrase replacement was there. So nothing surprising here if you talk about the English section, actually. In fact, this turned out to be the most easiest section. Even the questions based on grammar and vocabulary, the fill in the blanks or the sentence corrections, they were really sitters, actually. So one could have easily attempted all 30 of it, but on a safer side, even a 27, 28 can be considered a really good attempt. And this section was could have been easily managed within a time plan of 20 minutes, actually. So having gone through enough practice in last 6 months with the exams getting delayed and delayed, I'm sure you would have done a very good job in this particular section. So English was altogether, I would say, among all the sections, was the most easiest section as far as the MHCET paper today was concerned. Last section was mathematics, where again we had arithmetic, so question based on simple interest, percentages, time and work, and profit, loss, and discount. So it was all about arithmetic. There was no algebra or no other particular area from math, so it was all about arithmetic. Though we had questions on 1 question on geometry, which was related to an area, but technically it was more about a ratio question. Same goes for the question which was about time and speed. That again was more about ratio, actually. So we had 3 such questions based on ratio: 1 direct and 2 based on geography, kind of, and time and arithmetic. So altogether 10 questions. I would rate this section to be slightly moderate in terms of considering the fact that majority of the law aspirants are not very comfortable with mathematics as such. They fear this particular section. But yes, for those who are good in mathematics, this was again a sitter like English. This was again very easy section. So overall, even if you are not very good in mathematics, you would have definitely attempted 6 to 7. I would say you would have definitely attempted 10 out of 10 because there was no negative marking. So you would have taken your chances, but a good attempt would be somewhere around 6 to 7, considering the fear which most of the law aspirants have when it comes to mathematics. But this was again on expected lines, completely dominated by arithmetic actually. So the paper, if I look at overall, was not very difficult. It was again on the very much expected lines. It was very much like 2019. And basis that, I can surely say that the cutoffs this year are going to be very similar to 2019 or 2018 for that matter. So if you're a student from Maharashtra, if you have the domicile of Maharashtra, you completed your schooling, your 10th and 12th from the state of Maharashtra, which is the most important conditions for being the Maharashtra domicile when it comes to MHCET, you can expect a cutoff of somewhere around 105 to 107 as far as JLC Mumbai is concerned, and a cutoff somewhere around 103, 104 as far as ILS Law College Pune is concerned. Any score of 100 will definitely give you the top three. Any score of 95 plus will give you the top 6, 7 colleges as far as Maharashtra domicile candidates are concerned. Whereas for outside Maharashtra, because, by virtue of the reservation, only 15% of the seats are available to outside Maharashtra students. So Government Law College Mumbai cutoffs expected somewhere around 109, 110, which is very much like 2019 and 2018. Same goes for ILS Law College Pune. That would be close to 106, 107. Score of 100 would definitely fetch you the top six, which includes the Law Academy, Mumbai University, Praveen Gandhi Law College, and Rijvi, and Naval Mal Firodia. So that's what we expect the cutoffs out to be there. Do go ahead and check the score calculator. That will give you a better idea, and we'll also have a better idea as to if any changes are to be done as far as expected cutoffs are concerned. So the finally the exam is over. So we'll have to wait for the results now. Whenever MHCET authorities announce the results, the CET cell announce the results. After that, MHCET will go ahead with the uh, centralized admission process. So we'll have to give you the, you will have to give the preferences once the cap round is activated, and then the final college allotment list will happen. Till then, goodbye, and thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you so much.